Good evening, Bahamas. On the broadcast tonight, striking a better balance. The Attorney General speaks about signing deals with foreign investors that are beneficial to the average Bahamian. Plus, we talk to a Bahamian living in California, making a name for himself in the medical marijuana market. And the largest class of Bahamian doctors join the medical fraternity.
News is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news, the weekend edition, and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Knowles. Following the revelations of the Bahamar Deal that was unsealed by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis last week, Attorney General Carl Bethel says moving forward, the Minnis administration is determined to strike a better balance when it comes to heads of agreements. Our Jasmine Brown has more in tonight's top story.
Bethel says the government wants to stray away from the practice of signing deals with foreign investors that aren't necessarily beneficial to the average Bahamian.
We are concerned, and the Prime Minister has expressed it, with the levels of exemptions from taxes that have traditionally been given.
Bethel says a better balance is clearly needed.
We need to strike a slightly better balance in the arrangements, whether they get the full range of exemptions but concede a bit on the work permits. These are judgmental matters.
The latest deal to spark widespread criticism was the one signed last August between the former Christie administration and China Exim Bank to get work on the multi-billion-dollar project up and running. In the House of Assembly on Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis released the heads of terms the former government signed on August 22, 2016 with the Export-Import Bank of China, Perfect Luck Claims Limited, and Perfect Luck Assets Limited regarding the sale of Bahamar. The unsealed deal revealed that the Christie administration agreed to issue up to 1,200 work permits to China Construction America to complete the resort. The government also agreed to waive stamp duty and value-added tax on the transfer of assets from the Bahamar Limited Group of companies to Perfect Luck Assets Limited.
All I can say that any agreement entered into lawfully by a former government ought to be respected and honored by its successor in office. Going forward, yes, we will look to find ways to strengthen the, shall I say, Bahamian quotient in any agreement, our ratio, what we get out of it.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Meantime, CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and Employees Confederation, Edison Sumner, says from the revelations of overspending and mismanagement of public funds that have been outlined in the recent budget debate, it's clearer than ever that freedom of information is needed.
Now that a lot of information is coming to light that I guess most of us or many of us did not know before, then yes, I think it would be prudent.
Earlier this month, several civil society organizations and private industry groups called on the Minnis administration to amend and quickly enact the Freedom of Information Act that was passed under the Christie administration. Earlier this month, Attorney General Carl Bethel committed to providing an update on the status of the FOIA, which was passed in Parliament earlier this year. Certain provisions of the act came into force prior to the May 10th general election. Sumner says he hopes the Minnis administration sticks to its promise of transparent governance.
This is where, you talk about freedom of information, transparency in government. That's where this kind of stuff now comes to light and where it makes most sense for governments to be able to share with their citizenry what they've been doing with the fiscal resources of the country.
Well, hypocritical is what former Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell is calling the Minnis administration after a number of private citizens have been called in the House of Assembly on controversial matters by this administration. He says it's interesting that this administration is doing something they heavily fought against.
This is a matter of privilege. There is an error of fact in the judgment where somehow in the judgment, a leap is made that somebody stole emails or hacked emails. There is no such evidence anywhere. No such evidence. And yet, someone has been now fined, or whatever you want to call it, $150,000 in his capacity as a member of Parliament for what he said in Parliament. That is an issue which ought to go to the policy court. This judge's ruling cannot bind anybody except the parties, except that it creates mischief for the next person that comes along.
In March 2016, after Jerome Fitzgerald read and tabled an email thread in the House of Assembly painting Save the Bays as a political organization, claiming it to destabilize the Christie administration, many persons of the public, including the then opposition Free National Movement, took offense that a cabinet minister would publicly read and table the email of a private citizen in Parliament. Save the Bays sued Fitzgerald and the government for publicly releasing the private emails and fined Fitzgerald for a whopping $150,000. Now, the new administration is being accused by the former MP for the recently dropped names of private citizens like Jonathan Ash, a recipient of $8 million for the hurricane-related cleanup, and cultural consultant named Ian Poitier, who had been paid more than $1 million. But Mitchell says if it's going to be fair, everyone should be held accountable.
When you start telling people in this country that you got a bunch of money, you make yourself a physical target for harm, and all of that is done because you want to get at the PLP. Just if you want to attack the PLP, attack someone who is your size, who you could play with, but don't attack small people. That's outrageous. And he says he's a man from the people, from over the hill. Shame yourself.
While the matter is still on appeal, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs is now calling it the highest level of privilege not to hold this government to the same accountability.
It has no effect on me whatsoever because I believe in freedom of speech, so I speak and say whatever I want to say, wherever I want to say it. Senate or out of Senate, House or out of Senate. That's the Bahamas. It's a free place. And it's ridiculous that anybody could talk about injuncting a member of Parliament, which is the highest forum in the country.
For the freedom of speech.
For freedom of speech. It is a breach of the privilege of a member of Parliament to interfere with that right to free speech.
It should also be noted that the revelations made in the House during the budget debate had to do with private citizens engaged in work with government agencies. Government was not party to any Save the Bays emails. In other news, one Bahamian is reaping huge benefits from the medical marijuana market in California. Elliot Marshall, a native of the Bahamas, lives in the Bay Area and has made a name doing medical marijuana delivery through his company. So much so that the company recently acquired the partnership of a big name in reggae music. He spoke with our Kyle Joaquin.
His name is Elliot Marshall. He lives in California. And after realizing that despite the large number of cannabis clinics in the Bay Area, there are still many patients unable to leave their home due to illness or handicapped, he founded Proper RX, a company literally bringing medical marijuana to your front door.
My entry into the industry, I worked just at the front door doing check-ins at a dispensary, and I would see patients come in and it would take them 25 to 30 minutes to get out of their car just to walk inside, to do a transaction at the counter that might take 2 minutes. And then they'd spend another 20 to 30 minutes trying to get in their car to leave. And I didn't feel as though that was right. You know, I felt as though we needed to make it more accessible for the patients, because that's, you know, and the sick, because that's what the industry truly was developed for.
A few years later, Elliot, through Proper RX, is a household name.
I mean, we have patients that range from HIV down to little babies with epilepsy and different forms of seizure and stuff. I mean, it's a wide scope, wide range of ailments that, be it THC or CBD, we're finding to be very beneficial. THC and CBD being the main compounds inside the cannabis plant.
And as the buzz about this company spread through the Bay Area and all of LA, it caught the ear of reggae artist Mojo Morgan of Morgan Heritage.
For you, I sing this song. I need $1 million check today, so I can go on my way.
As I told Elliot, in just 2 weeks of spending time with him, he discovered, not just because of getting the medicine to the patients, but how he does it, the care, the secure, and the safe protocols that are in place for the customers and for the employees. It's the FedEx of the marijuana industry, and I say that very proud, very loud.
Industry. So we have stuff for pain, excessive pain. We have stuff for nausea. We have stuff, I mean, for for skin cancer, I mean, seizures, epilepsy. It's just, and if it's something that you need a rapid intake, we have smokables that are vapors, not actual light anything, just all vapor. Gives you rapid onset for people who need quick stuff. And then we have edibles that give you longer onset and a longer window for relief.
For Marshall, sharing the benefits of medical marijuana to the Bahamas is a goal. Governments all over the world are now considering changes to legislation against the plan for medicinal or recreational use. In the Bahamas, all use of marijuana is illegal. But Marshall is encouraging the Bahamas' lawmakers to have a look at the health benefits medical marijuana can have on the people of the Bahamas.
You know, it's a host of things just for the kids. And then when we're talking about the adults, you know, the high blood pressures to cancer, which is a menace in our country. You know, cancer is a true menace, and I just believe in if all of the tools exist over here for these folks in America to be alive and fight to be alongside their families as long as they can, we deserve those same options in the Bahamas. Once we get the doors open, I'll do the rest.
So the petition is not to have us shift there.
I know.
But to allow us to establish the industry, the medical marijuana industry in the Bahamas.
For our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, we'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight. A little girl dies in a traffic accident. Plus, is there political influence in the judiciary? Those stories and more when our news returns.
This is us. We all live here. And while we don't think of ourselves as numbers, in the grand scheme of things, numbers are part of who we are. Like your phone number, for instance. That's why at Alive we believe you should keep your number when you switch. Go in store today and ask an Alive Switch Angel. They'll make it real simple for you. We are alive.
I'm free to live my life, yeah. Free to be me, yeah. The way I wanna be. Doing the things that I wanna do. Yes, I'm living my life. Hey, BAF for life. Yes, I'm living my life. Hey, BAF for life. For life. BAF has got you covered.
KFC, made for moms. Yes, for this mom. And for her too. Or for her. I don't know how she does it, but she does. KFC, made for mom. Enjoy the Mom's Day Off bucket from KFC. Enjoy 8 pieces of chicken, 2 large sides, 4 biscuits, and 2-liter Pepsi, all for $25, including VAT. KFC Nassau, celebrating 50 years of finger-licking good.
What you saying? Why are you so happy?
3-3-3 just ball in Miami.
3-3-3? What you talking about? That is not fall.
Man, listen, with a short win in the 4-ball, it's called tail 3.
Ah, yeah. Tired of the 3-ball falling in the tail end of the 4-ball? Well, we have something new for you. Introducing a new way to play the 3-ball lottery by using the results from the last 3 digits in the 4-ball with Tail 3. So with over 60 new ways to win, don't miss your chance to win big with Tail 3.